Coming up next on The American Rancher.
Is there something unique about one of the wagons that really stands out to you, or, I mean, are they all just different in their own right?
Mr. Hickman said, I think I'll buy a couple of those and bring them to Fort Worth, and Mrs. Hickman said they all come or none of them come. And so here they all came.
The iconic Texas Cowboy Hall of Fame is giving us an exclusive tour. Then later, Champion Animal Health. This is an episode you won't want to miss. Hello and welcome to The American Rancher. I'm Pam Minnick. This week we take a look at the Texas Cowboy Hall of Fame here in the Fort Worth Stockyards. Superior Sunrise host Kirby Weiser goes throughout the exhibit with Julia Buswald as Julia explains the evolution of the hall over the years. Then later on we hear from Champion Animal Health and why its product is making cattlemen successful.
Okay, here we are, Texas Cowboy Hall of Fame. Julia, I mean, there's a lot that goes into this, and as soon as you walk into the doors, you're not overwhelmed in a negative way. It's such an accomplishment that's in here. There's so many things going on, so tell us a little bit about this place.
Yeah, so the Hall of Fame, we actually opened here in 2001. The Hall of Fame was actually founded in 1998 in Hyco, Texas by Bobby and Susan Kerr, and Mr. and Mrs. Hickman actually moved it up here in 2001 to complement the Sterkel Wagon collection and the John Justin Trail of Fame. So we've been here since 2001, and that's a pretty long time for here in the stockyards. So,
yeah, it definitely is. I mean, working across the street, which you know, there's just so many people that come in here. You get a lot of traffic, not only during the weekdays, but throughout the weekends, especially on the holidays. People not only from Texas come here, but around the United States and around the globe. They come to see what you guys have to offer. So tell us a little bit about the wagons here.
So the Sterkel Wagon collection actually came to us from Amarillo. The Sterkel family redid all of the wagons. They're all original and have been completely restored. So actually the story was that when Mr. and Mrs. Hickman, they were coming home from Ruidoso one weekend, and they had heard about the collection and stopped to see it. And initially Mr. Hickman said, I think I'll buy a couple of those and bring them to Fort Worth, and Mrs. Hickman said they all come or none of them come. And so here they all came, and it's definitely such a great teaching tool for us. We get to really cover it with our education program for early transportation and everything. But we have over 60 wagons in the collection, and I'll take you out there and show you some.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
I know you can tell the different ones. I know I was walking through earlier, and you can just see, the ones that were used for farming or the produce and the crops, and then the ones right here to deliver mail, and just the ones that I've read in the history books.
Oh yeah. It really brings history to life, and when the kids are here, it's something that they can actually touch and feel and see, and it's really great. We have a Welsh hearse dates back to 1650. So, I mean, they're really getting quite the education when they come. And, we had our stagecoach. It's the only one that's not original to the collection. We have this one built for us, but the kids really love it, and they get to learn about it. And they're always amazed when we tell them that, 21 people could fit on there. And so you really, we try to get them to not just say, hey, I saw a red wagon today. Once we really get into it, they get really excited.
Is there something unique about one of the wagons that really stands out to you, or I mean, are they all just different in their own right?
They're all different in their own right. I'd say one that really stands out to us is our back-to-back trap wagon. It actually has a seat that folds down, and that wagon came to us with a story that it had belonged to Jesse James.
Oh, wow.
And that he had modified it to help him rob banks. So going into a little bit of research on it, we found out that particular wagon type wasn't made till about 10 years after he passed, but that told us two things. One, it wasn't his, and two, he had modified one to help him do bad things. But it really is kind of, when we do our education programs, we really build that one as the early stow and go seating. So it's kind of like the original SUV. And awesome. So the kids are always amazed by that one.
I know, like I brought up to you earlier, and we have it right behind us, but it's kind of the one that was used for farming and crops. That's very interesting to me, I guess, because you kind of see not something quite similar like that, but when they're picking tomatoes, they're throwing it in, a wagon and stuff, but that's a pretty awesome wagon right there.
Yeah, the thing about our wagons and the industrial ones really in particular, the style of them really hasn't changed that much throughout the years, and so that tells us a lot of things. The design worked, and I think in The states, we're really big on if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it's really interesting, especially with the industrial wagon. You'll see the body style of it hasn't changed, and it's very similar for the farm wagon and our Cooper grocery wagon.
Walking around the wagons, one in particular really stands out to me. I don't know if it's the colors or just the shape or that it says oil on the side, but I really like it. Tell me a little bit about this wagon.
So this is actually our standard oil wagon, and it has a really great story. This particular wagon was actually a part of the Standard Oil fleet of the Rockefeller Company, and so it's been a really great teaching tool for us. And so much so we had an education group in here a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about J.D. Rockefeller, and one of the students goes like Rockefeller Records, like Jay-Z, and our initial reaction was like, no, no, no. And then we said, well, hang on a second, and so we actually made the connection from Jay-Z to an early Standard Oil wagon by asking if they knew why his business was named that. So that's not something we get to do every day, but I guarantee you they probably went home that night and talked about wagons at the dinner table. So we took it as a win.
So tell me about this awesome collection that's kind of lining the back wall here.
Yeah, so this is our Applewhite Clark collection. It was a private collection. It was originally supposed to be a rotating exhibit, but what was a 2-year span has been with us for 8 years because it's been such a great addition for our education program. We cover everything from Santa Ana to the actual Texas Rangers, early Texas Rangers, Major Ripley Arnold, Fort Worth, and then Quanah Parker. So they really get a wide span of Texas history just in this one exhibit alone. We really use this quite a bit to cover Texas history, and with our education program, it's 4th and 7th grade. So this takes what's in their history books and actually brings it to life.
Texas history is outstanding, and I know the Texas Rangers, they're pretty important, especially for our industry, the livestock and agriculture industries. They do a lot for us, so this is awesome that, young kids get to experience this and learn a little bit about it.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. You're watching The American Rancher.
We want a trust relationship with our customers. We want them to know that we care about them, that our products work, and we'll stand behind them.
To come back and purchase, to bid and buy their customers' cattle, they're very, very dedicated to a customer's product, and I think that creates a lot of longevity.
98, that's 63,000. Thank you.
If you're in the stocker business, you know exceptional care and good nutrition are the keys to healthy, profitable cattle. The Gain Smart Stocker program provides all the tools you need to minimize stress at receiving, stimulate appetite quickly, and create efficient gains on forage or feed. Plus, feeding Gain Smart makes your cattle eligible for Superior's first ever value-added nutrition program. Learn more about the Gain Smart Stocker program and find a dealer near you at gainsmart.com.
International Genetic Solutions Feeder Profit Calculator. What is it? Simply put, it's a tool to assist in determining feeder calf value of the largest genetic group within the industry, and that's the crossbred feeder calf. The Feeder Profit Calculator incorporates genetic knowledge of mainstream sires, regardless of the breed, preconditioning and vaccination information, weaning management, and responsible health programs to evaluate the value on a set of calves. The finished product is a certificate that highlights the genetic and management predictions on those calves, along with certain carcass and growth traits. Producers have 3 things to sell when it comes to their feeder calves, and that's genetics, health, and the management those cattle are under. The Feeder Profit Calculator wraps all this information together, but the cost, can a rancher even afford it? Well, how about this? It costs nothing. Head to internationalgeneticsolutions.com. You can either know or guess. Choose no. International Genetic Solutions Feeder Profit Calculator.
There's so many good stories that are within this building, and not just because it's the building, but within this exhibit. I mean, there's so much to offer everybody. I know another awesome thing is, and I get to work with you on this, is the videos for the Texas Cowboy Hall of Fame. Being inducted into that is one of the highest honors there is, and especially the highest in Texas, especially for the Cowboys. And cowgirls like Pam Minnick who's in it. So let's go over to the exhibits and tell us a little bit about, the people who've been inducted, how you get inducted, and what it means to the people who come and visit it and the inductees.
Absolutely. So like you said, we have our induction ceremony every year. We are in January, we're the night before stock show starts. So right before stock show, everybody comes here and we have a big old party with about 700 of our closest friends. But we induct 5 a year. What makes us special and different from the other Hall of Fames is the unique way that we display our inductees, and then also the categories that they come in. We're not just rodeo, we're not just ranching. We cover all aspects. We do rodeo, ranching, agriculture, business, and entertainment. So we take one from each of those offshoots of Western culture every year, so it really is quite competitive to get in here. And like I said, we only do 5 a year. Each one of our inductees has their own personal booth with memorabilia, and it's just a really great way for our visitors and guests to get a personal glimpse into their lives and accomplishments.
I know, and I like how each booth is tailored to that individual or individuals. You know, like I said, Pam Minnick, she's inducted in this, Pam and Billy Minnick. And then you said entertainment, I saw Pat Green back there.
Oh, yeah, we've got Pat Green, George Strait, Willie Nelson, all those guys. But, you know, we really have to have the Pat Greens and the George Straits for people to come in and learn about Johnny Trotter and Gerald Sullivan and all of our ranching heritage guys. So they may not be household names, but I think people would be surprised that most of the time during the week they eat what was produced on their ranches. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of Cowboys earlier, I saw that there's Trevor Brazil and Cody Ole and even Don Gay, he's over there.
Yeah, we are the buckle closet for a few of those guys. Like I said, we cover rodeo too. The majority of our rodeo inductees are world champions, so we get some really neat things from them. They'll come in from time to time and switch out their buckles, and Lyle Levitt comes and switches out his boots when he plays at Bass Hall. So the inductees do come around, and they're very thankful to be in here, and we're thankful to have them and that they allow us to have their memorabilia to showcase.
So what goes into being able to be inducted into the Cowboy Hall of Fame?
Okay, so actually the way that it happens, you have to have either been born in Texas or lived in Texas or made a very large contribution to Texas and Western culture. We take open nominations throughout the year, and then once a year we round table it and sit down, and a lot really goes into it. We stand behind 100% of the people that are in this Hall of Fame. You can't buy your way into our Hall of Fame, and we're really kind of stingy with who we let in.
No, I like that. You know, all these people, when I was walking around earlier, they've all made an impact on the industry in one way or another. Like you said, you kind of check off all the boxes from Gerald Sullivan Ranches, Santa Rosa Ranches, I should say, sorry, and, you know, the entertainment industry. I mean, you check all those boxes, but it's because each of these individuals have made such an impact on everything that we stand for.
Well, and each area that we showcase all have impacts on Western culture. Western culture isn't just ranching. Western culture isn't just boots and hats. And so we really try and cover that for all of our guests and make sure that everybody gets the appreciation that, you know, we're really, really well-rounded.
And you guys are, you know, one thing I talked to you about earlier is the traffic that you guys get. So, and it's international traffic that you get. So tell me a little bit, I mean, you know, walking around here, there's so much that draws people in, but what's, you know, some of the things that really stand out to you that really brings people in, and they go home, they talk about it, and more people come over here and they check it out?
Yeah, you know, for the stockyards in general, we see about 3 to 5 million people a year, and, you know, the Hall of Fame is a big part of educating all of those visitors. And on top of that, like I said, we have our education program, and we have about 30,000 school kids that come in per year. So I think what's so special here is the memorabilia. You know, we're one of the few places where it's not just, you know, plaques on a wall, and you actually get a feel for the inductees and really learn about the discipline that they represent. I think our wagons are a huge look back into transportation, so that's always good. I mean, we have everything from, you know, MVP Super Bowl balls to, you know, Johnny Trotter, and it's just, like, I can't say enough how much, it's just that you get a well-rounded experience here at the Hall of Fame. So.
Speaking of MVP Super Bowl footballs and things like that, I saw Jay Novacek over there, I saw Nolan Ryan, they're inducted in, and that's pretty awesome for people. You know, maybe if they don't know the Cowboy, but they definitely know some of those guys in the sports world.
So that's one of our biggest ones we always get. You know, they see Nolan Ryan and they think he's in here, you know, for being with the Texas Rangers and the Astros for so long. But we take great pride in being able to tell people that, hey man, he's been around and raising Beefmaster cattle since '72. So we really get to touch on his contributions to ranching, and actually some of Nolan's herd was started with some cattle from Dr. Graham. So all of our inductees really have a great crossover, and we get to showcase that here.
Great stories to tell, and you know, more stories to come over the years, but you guys are going to switch things up and shake things up a little bit. You are going to be moving, so tell us about that.
We are. So this year at our induction ceremony, we announced that we had found our forever home. We're staying in the Fort Worth Stockyard, so we're so excited about that. That was really, really important to us. But at the induction ceremony in January, we launched an $8 million capital campaign for our new building and to really update all of our exhibits and make it a more immersive and hands-on experience for our guests. Right now, I get the worst thing that I have to do is come in here and tell people they can't touch things, and that's just not how people learn anymore, children and adults. So we're really looking forward to updating the museum and bringing a better experience to all of our guests.
And I know you were telling me earlier, it's going to be really hands-on. I mean, there's going to be different changes to the exhibits that you have to offer for the inductees. I mean, the wagons will be displayed differently. There's going to be more that's going to be offered, but it's still going to have that great feel of heritage and education to all of it.
Yeah, we're not looking to take any of that away. Our main purpose has always been preservation, and we're still sticking with that. We're not going to be marble and everything. We're going to stick with our stockyards roots. You're going to see a lot of the cedar like we have now. And it's just going to be a more updated experience. Like I said, more hands-on. Kids and adults alike will actually have the opportunity to do roping dummies and maybe race some of our inductees in their world championship times and see that kind of thing. But we're still going to showcase our inductees in the unique way where we have their memorabilia. We're just going to do it a little modern twist, and we just really can't wait to show everybody.
Well, we all look forward to it. Thanks for taking us around the Cowboy Hall of Fame in Texas. Thank you.
We sure look forward to seeing the changes that the Texas Cowboy Hall of Fame has in store for the future. And if you haven't made your way down to Fort Worth, you need to do so. When we come back, Champion Animal Health explains the benefits their product has to ranchers around the world. Stay tuned. You're watching The American Rancher.
With the arrival of warmer seasons, any ranch anywhere in the world is doomed to face the attack of flies. At times, they can be just a nuisance. On other occasions, their relentless biting causes pain and irritation. To make matters worse, flies act as carriers of diseases that can bring suffering to animals and threaten the rancher's profits. In a few words, the more flies your cows have, the less money you get. In the United States alone, the horn fly, one of the most economically devastating pests of domestic cattle, causes more than $1 billion a year in losses. Even in small numbers, flies can cause pain and increased stress to cattle, leading to weight loss and reduced milk production. Studies and assessments conducted by several universities and research institutions in America show that horn flies can impair as much as 18% of yearling weight. Flies also affect reproductive efficiency of bulls and cows and can steal precious weight from growing calves. But now, American ranchers can count on a new ally to help them get rid of flies. Justifly, a most effective method brought to you by Champion USA, company originally from Brazil that has been successfully fighting the horn fly for almost 2 decades with a score of more than 30 million treated animals. Justifly is an EPA-approved feed-through additive that acts against fly larvae by breaking its reproductive cycle.
How this product works, it is an insect growth regulator. So it's fed to cattle, it's mixed with feed, mineral, salt, finished feeds. It's mixed with the feed, and then the cattle eat this product. It passes through the animal, and it is not absorbed by the animal. So therefore, there is no withdrawal for milk or meat. They can go direct to market. There's no withdrawal. And so they eat this product. The product passes through the cattle, and then it's in the manure. Well, flies lay their eggs in manure. So when the flies lay their eggs in the manure, the larva can't develop into flies. So therefore, that's how you get the fly control.
Justifly can be mixed with any supplement that will be ingested by cattle. Anyone can mix it with no special equipment required. Since it's non-toxic, it leaves no residue in meat or milk. No restrictions apply.
One of the big advantages of Justifly is one, the safety of using it. It is like I said, it's an insect growth regulator, and so it's not a toxic chemical. It can be used safely. And then a big advantage of Justifly over other forms of fly control is that this can be used to mix in the feed. You don't have to get your cattle up and handle them, so you decrease the cost of labor in handling the cattle, as well as the decreased risk of hurting the cattle when they're up if you got to get them up to work them. So a lot of benefits of using this, and one of the things that we're really pushing this year is the Justifly 360 ad pack. It's a 360 gram ad pack. With this ad pack, you can use it and mix the 360 grams mixes with a 50-pound bag of mineral or salt. So you can mix it on farm. I know a lot of ranchers prefer to use their own formula of mineral. And another thing about Justifly, it gets all 4 fly species. There are some products that only get horn flies. With Justifly, you get horn flies, face flies, house flies, and stable fly control.
Be it a beef cattle operation or a dairy farm, no matter how large or small, anyone can and should use Justifly. Besides being easy to use, Justifly's cost is minimum when compared to its benefits.
Justifly increases ranchers' margins by helping to control the flies. There's a lot of economic impact on milk production and meat production on cattle when they have the nuisance of the flies. So, and it only costs about roughly 3 cents per head per day for fly control. There's not many other methods of fly control that you can get for that kind of cost.
American ranchers that use Justifly approve it.
A lot of bull customers come by looking at our bulls, folks looking for show heifers. We do market into that industry. And our visitors always comment on how well the hide and the hair looks on our cattle. We attribute that to the lower fly population, and Justifly certainly is a large part of helping us control that. We also have very positive comments about, wow, your cows don't have any flies, and they ask us about our fly control program. We always mention Justifly, and I mean, it's really, it helps hair coat, it helps the color. You don't see really blood marks on the cattle from fly bites. So it's been a positive impact just in terms of the general appearance of the cattle. It seems to have improved it, and we do get positive feedback.
Justifly comes in a variety of packaging and sizes. One of them certainly is a good fit for your operation.
We have numerous registrations. We have a 3% Justifly 3% product. We have a Justifly 0.67% product. We have a Justifly 0.04% product. We have a Justifly 0.16% milk replacer product. And we're also in the process of getting EPA registrations for a horse product, a poultry product, as well as a product that will be labeled for mosquito control, all here in the U.S. So it's a great molecule, diflubenzuron, works really well, and we're having much success with introducing this product into the U.S. market.
Want a herd free of flies that can reach its maximum potential? Purchase Justifly through championstore.usa.com/shop or amazon.com. You can also ask your local reseller. For more information, call 1-800-898-0987. Increase your production with Justifly.
That's all the time we have today. We want to thank the Texas Cowboy Hall of Fame for a look inside their museum, and we sure look forward to the future. Make your plans to visit the Fort Worth Stockyards. Be sure to check us out online at theamericanrancher.com or find us on Facebook. We'd love to connect with you. I'm Pam Minnick. For the entire American Rancher team, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.